I had to advise General Gerber to say, the very same members, they are contravening their own instruction. When it says crime scene management, how the crime scene must be managed, we have got national instructions that guide us to say, this is how we approach crime scene, which means deviating from that itself. I think in General Gerber's report, he should have noticed that the very same members deviated from National Instruction 1 of 2024, that of saying crime scene management.
Colonel, isn't the issue that when they were arrested, the Section 35 certificate or notice that they had to sign said they are dealing with drugs? Now that is premature because at the point nobody even knew that these are drugs. They were arrested at a point where all they had done was interfere with the crime scene. But that's not the charge for which they were arrested.
That is correct.
They were arrested for dealing in drugs. Now that is premature because
that
on that day, nobody could make even a presumption that they are dealing with drugs because they say they were taking the drugs to the police station in Ekurhuleni. So to say they are dealing with drugs is premature if you don't even know where they are taking them. It may be that they were clueless about what the prescripts are, or they deliberately violated the prescripts. But it's a giant leap to say what they did amounted to dealing in drugs.
In that instance, Commissioner, I will concede.
Yes.
Thank you.
Colonel, then the next is a lack of follow-up on alibis, thus allowing defense to obtain statements and providing such to their representations to DPP. Can you see that?
Lack of follow-up on alibis.
Just for context, Ms. Poe, please remind me what the alibis were. I'm just thinking, for example, is it Warrant Officer Magane was there. He was at Ayrton. The bags were on his buggy. Warrant Officer Pakula was physically there. He was found at the scene. Chief Mashaba was also there at the scene. Just remind me for context what alibis are referred to here.
Chair,
I'm not saying there aren't any. I've just forgotten the context altogether.
From the context, my understanding of this criticism relates to calling the supervisors of the various officers at the scene, because from the interviews at the scene or the calls made, they were informed that commanders didn't know where these officers were. But subsequently, the statements that were filed by the various officers indicated, at least in the case of Officer Magane and Pakula, that they were aware of the members' operations. So perhaps it's not worded.
Or then it's probably a wrong use of the term alibis, because I understand it to refer to, I was not there, I was elsewhere.
Yes, I discerned it from the context.
But what you say makes sense in the context, yeah.
Yes, because if you also...
So it's the person who wrote this that used the alibi wrongly, it seems.
General Gerber.
Yes. Thank you, Ms. Bowe. Please repeat your question.
Chair, I even forgot what the question was. No, Colonel, I was asking for your comment regarding the lack of following up with the supervisors, because it's from the criticism, and I mean it's apparent from how the case then proceeded, that delay in talking to the supervisors resulted in the statements coming up much later, where those supervisors then said that their members did inform them of this operation. And just to say that this criticism is also shared by the NPA in their report.
Isn't maybe the first question to ask whether Colonel Sebola, you know what alibis are referred to here? Who are the alibi? Do you know who the author of the report
It's just that maybe
is referring, would have been
I
referring
know
to as alibi?
what alibis are. I know for sure it's section 36 and 37 of the Amendment Act with regard to certain properties. Then one, if I found somebody in possession of something, he gave me certain information to say, yes, I'm in possession of this. I got it from this person. That is the alibi that I can follow. But having somebody coming from somewhere, I can even state in this instant, I know Lieutenant Colonel Maluleka, who's one of the people who wrote this statement. His commander was Colonel Sohobe. I phoned Colonel Sohobe. Do you know where? Because we are from the same division. He is not working narcotics. He is working EPR. So if what he was saying is alibi to say he was there at the scene, the question is, what was his purpose? What did he do at the scene?
No, my question, maybe to go back to my question, Colonel, that so there's a criticism here that you failed to follow up on alibis. So my question is, go back to the scene. Who were the alibis here that you should have spoken to, that it is said you failed to follow up on? Do you know who they are referring to?
No.
All right. Yeah, I can't do more than that.
Okay. That's fine. Maybe let's then deal with the last, well, I think it coincides, statements from commanders, but initially indicated telephonically they were not aware of what their members were doing, but later changed their versions, should have been obtained immediately. What is your response to that criticism?
Which paragraph?
It's the last bullet point.
Statement from commanders. Commissioners, it's me who called the station commander of Zongesiswe. It's me who sent warrant officer, I think it's Mbowane, to obtain the very same statement and to get the job description of warrant officer Magane. So I can't understand this bullet point, commissioners.
Maybe just to remind you that if we start with Warrant Officer Magane, the statement is, if you can go to page 196 of the exhibit file that has the docket and disciplinary papers. Maybe to start here, what do you recall of your conversation with Warrant Officer Magane's supervisor? What did he say? Did he indicate that he was aware of his whereabouts or not on the phone?
Commissioners, even after having communicated with, now I know it's Colonel Chauke, I talked to him personally.
And what did he say?
He said he does not know the whereabouts of Mohana. But yes, Mohana is supposed to be in the office because he's performing these duties, which is SIMEC.
Yes. So you see, when on the phone with I don't know the designation, Lieutenant Colonel Chauke, he informed you that he didn't know Warrant Officer Magane's whereabouts. But if you go to his statement at page 196, and if you look at paragraph 3, he says, on Friday, the 9th of July 2021, around 8:05 in the morning, I received a call whilst on duty from Warrant Officer Magane, herein after referred to as a member who is serving under my command, and told me that he is following information on drugs. I asked him where is he following the information, and he replied by saying that he is in Ayrton with other members from provincial office. As a commander, I was not aware of the operation since the members' duties are office-bound, doing crime information management analysis coordination, CMAC for the station as per the attached. So what he does confirm is that he was aware, he was told by Officer Magane that he was as following information on drugs.
Commissioners, I did investigation on this matter. I know the communication charts of Warrant Officer Magane in the first place. The only office people that he called, the very same Chauke was never called on that day. So if he is telling, on his statement, he is saying he was called by Magane, that I will say he was definitely lying, because I think the same numbers, if they are there, investigation could be done to those to indicate that he never received call from Magane.
Who did Warrant Officer Magane call? Because I think he went so far as to say even before he actually got to Yellow Jersey, he called as a superior. I don't know, maybe my memory is failing me. He did not just drive and only call someone when he was already at Ayrton, which is what this paragraph 3 suggests. After having been called After having been called by one of his colleagues, he called a superior. That's what he suggested.
When we were, the certain calls made by Magane, they were made immediately after I informed him about their actions. He called by then one member from our office, which is Captain Cry, but the call could not go through. As I can remember, he tried to call Brigadier Loela. At that time, Brigadier Loela was approaching the scene. The call also could not go through. The only calls that were made on the 9th, that started around 6. It was between him, Pokungwana, and Mashab. By saying he called these people, I still maintain he would be lying. So this is the alibi that I could not fall, because yes, at the initial stage, but during the investigation, I did not have anything to obtain from or to get except for the station commander to say where was his member. I communicated with, I even informed my superior, who was Brigadier Sebola, to say, we need to get somebody to obtain the statement of Colonel Chauke. He is stating this way, but seeing his statement this way, it seems I can't understand what he's trying to hide.
And Pogungwana, which section does he work for? I know it's somewhere here, but
they are not working together.
They are not working together.
Pogungwana is Albert, and that one is Songesiso.
Okay. So Magane could not have gotten an instruction from Pogungwana?
No.
All right.
Just say, my understanding of this criticism, if you like, it's that you delayed getting written statements and these statements contradict what you were told on the phone. That's really the criticism, as I understand it. It's about the time lapse between your call on the scene, where the commander said to you, they don't know where their people are. And then in their later statements, now when they do written statements, they say different, they speak differently, they contradict what they told you on the phone. So the criticism is really about between the day of the operation itself, the 9th of July, and the date of the statements, there was a delay, which allowed for people to change what they told you on the phone. So the statement of Chauke, for example, of Magano's superior, is dated the 19th of July. The operation was on the 9th of July, so there's a good 10 days in between, and you're being criticized for failing to take a statement. The writer says immediately, you should have taken the statement immediately. So the criticism is that really. It's not whether it's true or not what they told you on the phone or what you say they told you on the phone and what they said in the statement. It is the passage of time. And the suggestion, as I understand it, is had you taken Chauke's statement immediately after you spoke to him on the phone, then you wouldn't have had that contradiction or his changed position where he now says in writing he knew where Magane was. Do you have any comment to that? Why you did not take the statement, why you took the statement only 10 days later?
Commissioners, that criticism, first of all, I can say is not fair to me. We did not take months to obtain this statement. In the process, when we are dealing with this, there are certain things that we have to give priority. Here, I got confirmation from the station commander that I believe there should have been no change in what he told me on the 9th, and that is stating on the 19th. Even if I delayed, Commissioner, I think that does not give him the right to change what he told me, even if I delayed. But the delay is only for 10 days. That is why I'm saying this comment to me, based on the volume of work that we had to do on the day in question, it was not fair. It's not a fair criticism, Commissioner.
Thank you.
And Colonel, does your answer also then extend to the delays with warrant officers Pakula's supervisor?
That will be same.
But you'll recall that, I don't know his designation, but Sipungu was at the scene. Apologies? Colonel Sipungu, who is Warrant Officer Pakula's supervisor.
What I can tell the Commissioner is that I did not see Colonel Sipungu on the scene. I only heard. Then I even heard from him that he was there at the scene. That is when, if I remember well, we met again the arrest was on Friday. We met at Alberton's Boys and Police cells when we were obtaining fingerprints and other from the arrested people, and the confrontation I had with him. The second time I met with Sipungu was on Monday, when we were placing the matter on the control, when he volunteered to give me the statement, on-duty statement, as the commander. That is the 2 days that I interacted with Sipungu.
Wasn't the issue also that because he was on leave during the early part of July, he should not even have been involved with these things?
That, I think I testify to that effect to say,
Because he came back on the 12th of July from leave.
yes,
So
it was.
when these things were happening, he should not have been anywhere
He should
near.
not have been there. That is why I said his interaction with me with regard to the case and the presence of Pakula there was not supposed to even have happened.
All right. Thank you, Colonel. If we can then move to what the NPA said. You were at paragraph 20.
I have also considered the decision made taken by the National Prosecuting Authority in relation to the matter. Following the representation submitted by the BTK attorneys, the Director of Public Prosecution for Gauteng Local Division, Advocate J.M. Serepo, ruled on 2022-06-23 that the representations were unsuccessful and prosecution should proceed. Subsequently, on 2024-01-29, the Deputy National Director of Public Prosecution, Advocate R.J. de Kock, considered the matter and decided not to pursue the prosecution. I further considered the correspondence from the Director of Public Prosecution, Gauteng, Advocate J.M. Serepo, in a letter dated 2025-02-14, addressed to the Provincial Head of DPCI in Gauteng. Advocate Serepo confirmed that there was, in his view, a prima facie case relating to the alleged contravention of Drugs and Drug Trafficking Act. This is a clear indication that there was sufficient grounds for me to believe that the 4 accused should have been charged in dealing in drugs, alternatively possession of drugs.
Thank you, Colonel. Maybe, oh, my apologies. Are you done with that?
Yes, paragraph 22, I'm done.
If we go, just to remind me, when did you stop being involved in the investigation? When you moved to Limpopo?
The last time it was when it was sent for, it was requested to the DPP. Then I was transferred to West Rand. From West Rand, I went to Limpopo.
When was it when you were transferred to West Rand?
It was around 2022.
Right. So,
It was around 2022 early, but towards the end, I left for Limpopo.
Colonel,
So
if you look
in your
at
statement, you said
the reasons, so just to recall the history, initially the matter was going to proceed, and then the prosecutor decided not to proceed with the prosecution. This was in 2022, recall that?
Yes,
And this was a decision taken by Advocate de Kock.
in 2022.
Yes, in 2022. No, my apologies, 2024. Maybe let's just go to page 1 of what's this one? The exhibit file with Boysons and Khan disciplinary.
Page.
Page 1. You'll see there it was a response to General Kadwa providing reasons why the MPA had decided not to prosecute.
Yes, that one I've seen.
Yes. And they deal with the reasons at paragraph 6. So if you just go to page 2.
Yes.
You'll see there that the prosecutor lists a number of reasons why they decided not to prosecute. And a lot of them relate to this issue relating to supervisor's knowledge. So if you look at the first one, at 6.1, there was a statement from General Khan stating that he contacted Warrant Officer Pakula's supervisor, Colonel Sipungu, who informed him that he didn't know that Pakula was involved in the operation. And it says materially contradicts the statement of Detective Sipungu, who states that Pakula did inform him of the operation.
Yes, I'm seeing that.
Yes. Do you want to comment on this criticism? Or you still maintain that it was because, I think it's
Commissioners,
Commissioner
if I had to,
Khumalo with the assist regarding Colonel Sipungu's role? So the prosecutor was essentially saying that there are material contradictions in the statements contained in the dockets, was one of the reasons.
that is one of the reasons.
Yes. Okay. The second relates to, again, that if you consider Warrant Officer Pakula's role in particular, that he was invited by Warrant Officer Magane to assist, and he only arrived at the scene after the drugs were loaded onto the truck.
I could see that reason.
Yeah, so that essentially that he wasn't involved in that part. Yet he's equally charged with the same offense.
I don't know how to comment on this reasoning, Commissioners, because
You don't agree with the reasoning?
I don't agree with, because it seems they were checking for what, if I will have to put it on my own way,
Yes.
those who were deciding on this case, they were only looking at the best reason that they can give or to convince me why we are not proceeding with your case. This is me sitting here reading at these reports. They were not dealing with all these material facts that are within the dockets. We have got other things that they have looked into. I don't even get clarity why they were not overlooked.
So,
But to me, the reasonings are not fair.
so your general response, we don't need to go through all the reasons. Your general response to the criticism is that you think there are critical things that they overlooked
That is correct.
and that the criticism is unfair.
Very unfair.
Then we can go to paragraph 23 of your statement.
I was concerned by the conduct of certain senior police officers and the role they played in the crime scene. Based on the information that I have reviewed, certain actions and decisions taken at the scene raised questions that, in my view, warrant further scrutiny and further investigation. The circumstances surrounding their involvement create an appearance of possible improper motives or interest. However, I acknowledge that any determination in this regard should be based on thorough assessment of all available evidence and findings of the appropriate investigative authorities. It is also noteworthy that certain senior officers sought to involve themselves in operational matters relating to the investigation. In my experience, the extent of their involvement in these operational activities was unusual and raised concern in my mind regarding